For decades, the global elite have whispered of a future where they rule alone, unburdened by billions of ordinary people. That future is no longer a theory, it's unfolding right now. WF-aligned scientists have crossed a terrifying threshold. Human consciousness can now be uploaded to supercomputers, a $35,000 gateway to digital immortality and superhuman intelligence. For the elite, it's the endgame. For the rest of us, it's a death sentence. They've already named it, the Humanity 2.0 Protocol, a mass extinction blueprint designed to eliminate 90% of the human race and enslave the survivors under a technocratic regime. But here's what they didn't count on. We know. And if enough of us wake up, if enough of us push back, their plan collapses. This isn't just a warning, it's a call to action. Because if we don't stop the Humanity 2.0 Protocol now, there may not be a later. Before we dive in, a quick word about our partner, VP.net, the next generation of private browsing. VP.net is the only VPN designed with true zero-logging architecture. That means, unlike other VPNs, it literally can't track you. So even if governments or bad actors come knocking, there's nothing to hand over. It's that simple. Your data stays yours, period. The global elite, operating through the WEF, have quietly ordered obedient world governments to begin the mass digitization of human minds. Billions of citizens being reduced to raw data, uploaded as algorithms to serve the elite in a post-human future. In this transhumanist dystopia, the so-called useless class will be eliminated, leaving only synthetic intelligence modeled on their minds, and the ruling few who control it all.
This is a breakthrough in the future of computing. That pink liquid, it's full of living human brain cells. And here's the crazy part. Scientists are combining those brain cells with traditional silicon to build computers that are alive. It's pretty wild. Now, this is a brand new industry of technology called biocomputing. These are real human neurons that can actually think and learn for themselves. Now, if you're like me, you're probably wondering one thing. Why are they doing this? It feels a bit much to be growing human brains just to put them into computers. Well, listen to this. It turns out human brain cells have extremely rare abilities to process things without being trained. Normal computers have to be taught to solve problems. It's why AI models take so much energy and training data to build. But as soon as you add brain cells to a computer chip, they don't really need as much training. They kind of start figuring out what to do on their own, just like a human would. Now, because of this, these biocomputers are super efficient. A regular supercomputer might use 40 million watts of power to solve a complex task. The human brain can do it in just 20. That's 2 million times more efficient. And this means these biocomputers could become the secret weapon to solving humanity's hardest computational challenges.
To prepare for the coming mass extinction, the engineered depopulation event, the global elite are quietly selecting which humans will be allowed to survive in the form of a digitized brain, and which will be discarded as obsolete. Right now, WF-funded behavioral scientists are testing the public's limits, posing loaded questions like, would you sell your soul for digital immortality? The offer? A mind upload. Your memories, thoughts, fears and consciousness copied and transferred into a synthetic shell. It's not salvation, it's soul extraction. And the first step in replacing humanity altogether.
There is just one massive problem. Brain cells tend to die when their temperature deviates from 98.6 degrees, and computers generate a ton of heat. So we have this wild situation where living computers could be the solve for everything, but it's almost impossible to keep the brain part alive. Today, companies like Cortical Labs are selling these biocomputers for $35,000. But over time, scientists are gonna figure out how to get them more stable and accessible. It's wild to say, but I think soon we're gonna have living computers that literally think like humans.
The process is already underway. Scientists at the WF-funded Cortical Labs estimate that within 5 years, humanity will be ripe for upgrade, which is WF speak for mass euthanization, with select brain traits harvested and uploaded to elite-controlled AI supercomputers. Depopulation isn't a side project, it's an obsession of the global elite. Last year, leaked footage began circulating online, showing disgraced former WF chairman Klaus Schwab outlining chilling details of his long-term agenda to a private gathering of so-called global shapers.
Some people would say this revolution is characterized by the fight of robots against human beings. And we will win this fight.
In the leaked video, Schwab laid out elements of the depopulation blueprint that had never been revealed to the public.
The chance to look forward to a career of 50 years. And my own opinion, maybe more. You will get some injections and some and so on, and then don't forget your avatar will continue to live. So and your brain will be replicated through artificial intelligence and algorithm. So we don't know, but at least 50 years.
The WEF's Young Global Leaders program is well known, and for good reason. Its graduates have infiltrated governments around the world, quietly advancing the globalist agenda while betraying the people they claim to represent. But there's another WEF pipeline that flies under the radar, the Global Shapers Community. Founded by Klaus Schwab in 2012, this lesser-known initiative targets individuals under 30, ambitious, malleable, and eager to climb the ranks. These recruits are groomed to become the next generation of elite operatives, trained to carry out the agenda under the guise of innovation and social progress.
Your Royal Highnesses, Excellencies, distinguished heads of state and government, the future is built by us, by a powerful community as you here in this room.
Klaus Schwab, the founder of the WEF, is particularly upfront and even proud of his ability to shape and influence world politics.
I created the community of global shapers as a means, as a force to shape our common future.
So why did the global shapers in the room erupt with applause when Klaus Schwab spoke of achieving digital immortality through avatars, algorithms, and a mysterious regimen of experimental injections? Because these young operatives, many of them rising stars in big tech, media, and academia, are already fully assimilated into the globalist hive mind. They are the new techno-utopian priesthood of the liberal elites, and they've long since traded their souls for a seat at the table. Need proof? When Schwab claimed that Pope Francis was more important than Jesus Christ, not a single voice in the audience objected. They nodded, they clapped, and they agreed. Transhumanism is the new religion, and the elite aren't hiding it anymore. A one-world faith built not on spirituality, but on submission, blind trust in AI and digital control systems, and a eugenics vision of humanity 2.0. According to one WF insider, resistance isn't even a consideration. If you don't like the agenda, he said, you're free to opt out by getting euthanized by the state. In the same breath, he claimed that they were becoming gods and warned that those who refuse to kneel will be eliminated.
We are going to become gods. Period. If you don't like it, get off. You don't have to contribute. You don't have to participate. But if you're going to interfere with me becoming God, you're going to have big trouble. And we'll have warfare. The only way you can prevent me in this 50 or is to kill me. If you kill me, I'll kill you.
And if you think that's disturbing, just wait. What the Luciferian elite are saying behind closed doors makes this look tame. WF advisor Yuval Noah Harari has spent years openly mocking ordinary people, calling them useless, hackable animals and obsolete in the face of AI and synthetic biology. According to Harari, most of humanity has no meaningful role in the elite's vision of the future. A future where the global elite wield the godlike powers of creation and destruction. And yet, his books were bestsellers, his speeches cheered, his ideas mainstream. So, what's really going on here? The elites are engaged in a psychological war, a slow, calculated campaign to propagandize the public into accepting their own elimination. A future where most are cold in the name of sustainability, and the survivors live as cheerful, chipped, tightly controlled digital serfs, enslaved but smiling. And the most disturbing part? They're conditioning us to believe it's all for our own good.
The idea that you'll own nothing and be happy. You will share everything with people, and your life will have conveniences. It won't be like a terrible poverty, but you won't really be thinking anything for yourself. You will just naturally acquiesce and fall under whatever the programming that is going on for your particular region. They won't even need happy pills anymore. And I think that we saw a little bit of that in 1984, or maybe Brave New World. Those two books, I think everybody should reread them.
Sounds like a cyborg type of heavy slavery, and you can do what you will. You can have them as sex slaves, you can have them as worker slaves. You're creating a environment of happy-go-lucky slaves.
We need to stay alert, Because the foundations of a vast open-air prison are being laid right now, brick by digital brick. Surveillance, biometric tracking, centralized control of food and energy. It's all being rolled out under the banner of progress. But to truly understand the elite's obsession with control and why they view mass depopulation as not just necessary but inevitable, you need to understand Malthusianism, the belief that there are too many people and too few resources to go around. As investigative journalist Whitney Webb has exposed, this ideology, born from the writings of 18th century economist Thomas Malthus, has been weaponized for decades. It's been used to justify wars, sterilization programs, economic collapse, and now global digital control. It's all about convincing the public that their enslavement is for the greater good, and that their extermination is just part of the plan.
As far as Malthusianism go, there's sort of this idea that humanity has to disappear by merging itself with machines. There's also this view that the world can't support X billion number of people. The number has to be much smaller. And I think there's been really a long-term effort to sort of engineer that idea. And it's been going on for a very long time. Like you have people like, forget his first name, his last name's Ehrlich. He wrote The Population Bomb. But back in the 70s, he said, very soon, everything will collapse because of the population. And then, the world population greatly surpasses that. And it didn't happen. And there's sort of been this argument that's very common with people who sort of were in the past and since then have developed some, development plans and things like that for the United Nations that make arguments that the world's population needs to be a lot smaller than it is right now for sustainable development, quote unquote, to actually be able to happen. I think sustainable development as it's sold to the public through groups like the UN, for example, are really not what they claim to be. It's not really sustainable development for the good of the planet and the people. A lot of it is really aimed at ensuring that people are onboarded to some type of digital control system for easier management of the masses, and particularly onboarding people onto types of surveillable, programmable digital money, whether that means a central bank digital currency or a private sector digital currency like a stable coin, for example. But all of that can be just as surveillable and programmable as CBDCs. And, once you take control of the money and can surveil all the money and program the money to only be able to be used to purchase products X, Y, and Z and not products ABC, for example, you can begin really micromanaging people. And I think if you look at people like Bill Gates, for example, there's a lot to be said about sort of how he has been influenced by, Malthusian-ish thought in the past. And I think that's not just true of him. There's other figures as well. But there was a lot of reporting on that in the COVID era. Some of it I did as well as it relates to groups like the Wellcome Trust, for example, which is sort of like a Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation style thing, but based in the UK, comes out of the fortune of the company Burroughs Wellcome that made the AZT drug that became infamous during the 1980s in AIDS. Among other products. But the Wellcome Trust has an historic, very close tie to, eugenics and eugenic-like thought and the idea of racial hygiene and all of this stuff that is, obviously very messed up. They've been doing a lot of weird financing of stuff in the public health space, particularly in the global south for some time. So I think a lot of that stuff does deserve careful consideration and scrutiny. And I think that, obviously a lot of these elite figures don't see the masses as sort of being as valuable to the world as they are, and thus see them as more expendable.
The Bible warned us how this ends. The Tower of Babel was mankind's first attempt to play God. And just like then, their arrogance will bring about their fall. They may have the money, the tech, and the power, but they will not have the final word. Humanity is waking up, and we won't go quietly. We see through their lies, their false promises of progress, and their polished tyranny disguised as sustainability. They want obedience, but what they'll get is resistance. Because no matter how many algorithms they write or avatars they build, the human spirit was never theirs to control, and it never will be. Here at The People's Voice, we're determined to continue exposing the crimes of the elite, but we need your help. Subscribe to the channel, tell your friends and family about us, and join the People's Voice Locals community for exclusive and uncensored content. We can't do it without you.